Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Uh, we are doing unit number one, diversity of life, and we have finished two chapters from that unit. Chapter number three, which is Kingdom Plantae, and chapter number four, which is Kingdom Animalia. We are still left with chapter one and two. So, out of that, we are doing chapter number one, the living world. See, in hindsight, अगर देखा जाए तो ये 11th स्टैंडर्ड का फर्स्ट चैप्टर है. मतलब दिस शुड हैव बीन एक्चुअली आइडियली अकॉर्डिंग टू द एनसीईआरटी सीबीएसई स्टैंडर्ड्स, राइट ना. मतलब ये 11th स्टैंडर्ड के स्टार्टिंग में पढ़ाया जाना चाहिए था, राइट. बट लेकिन बहुत सारी चीज़ें इसमें ऐसे हैं जो समझ में नहीं आती. So we are going to study that chapter now. Now this chapter we have divided into four parts. We'll take two parts in each of the videos, right? So the first part here is talking about a very big question which man has faced since time immemorial. Man observes things around him. He observes the interaction between animals, observes the ecosystem. But one question which always troubles him is what is life? So we are here to find out the answer, right? Or what the NCERT, what the chapter, what the author has to say about this question, what is life? Now, this question, what is life, has two aspects to it. One is the technical aspect, scientific point of view, and one is the philosophical aspect, what is life, right? हाल फिलहाल अपना इंटरेस्ट फिलोसफी में नहीं है. जिसको फिलोसॉफिकल व्यू चाहिए व्हाट इज लाइफ, वो हिमालय जा सकता है, राइट. उसको पता चल जाए तो फिर हमको आके बता दे. Right now what we are interested is the technical, the scientific aspect of it, that how is life different from non-life. So what is the difference between living organisms and non-living matter? ये दोनों में how to differentiate, right? Now how can you tell that something is living and something is non-living? Obviously when you want to identify a particular feature, right, now आप उसके characteristics ढूंढते हो, right. Now what are the characteristics that we look out for, right? Now something like growth, reproduction, ability to sense environment, respond to the environment, right, metabolism, self replication, organization, interaction. Now these are some of the characteristics that you would like to take into consideration, right. Here we are talking about four features. We'll be talking about growth, we talk about reproduction, we will talk about metabolism, and third, ability to interact, ability to react to stimulus. Four characteristics have been highlighted here, and we are trying to find out which of the character can we put a finger on and say that yes, this is the defining feature of life. So ये चार में से अपने को चूज करना है, ठीक है. तो we will take up one by one. First is growth, right? What is growth and how can growth be called as a feature, or whether growth can be called as the defining feature of life? All living organisms grow by default, non-living organisms. अभी देखते आगे क्या ऑथर का बोलना है. Increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are twin characteristics of growth. A multicellular organism grows by cell division. Obviously we know mitosis होगा तो नए सेल बनेंगे, सेल बनेगा तो टिश्यू बनेंगे, टिश्यू सिस्टम्स, ऑर्गन सिस्टम, राइट, वो सब आगे आएगा. प्लांट्स में दिस ग्रोथ अकर्स कंटिन्यूसली थ्रू आउट देयर लाइफ स्पैन, राइट. वी हैव स्टडीड टिश्यूज इन प्लांट्स, राइट. प्लांट्स में दो टाइप के टिश्यू होते हैं, एक मेरिस्टेमेटिक, एक परमानेंट. ग्रोथ सिर्फ मेरिस्टेमेटिक में होता है, परमानेंट में ग्रोथ नहीं होता है, राइट. बट लेकिन ये जो मेरिस्टेमेटिक में ग्रोथ है वो कंटिन्यूअस है. दैट मीन्स द प्लांट keeps on growing. The growth process never stops. But in animals, the growth is seen only up to a certain age. Right? Beyond that, the growth is stopping. However, cell division occurs to replace lost tissues. Obviously, tissues which get damaged are to be replaced with new tissues. वो कैसे होगा? Cell division, mitosis से होगा. Unicellular organisms also grow by cell division. See, but when multicellular animals grow by cell division, and we're talking about unicellular structure, there's a slight difference. Let's say we take up a single cell bacteria. राइट ना, बैक्टीरिया सिंगल सेल स्ट्रक्चर है. जब वो 1 से 2 में होगा तो अब ये उसका रिप्रोडक्शन भी है और ये उसका ग्रोथ भी है. राइट ना, मतलब यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म में ग्रोथ और रिप्रोडक्शन को अलग नहीं कर सकते हम लोग. वेयरएज मल्टीसेलुलर में ये दोनों अलग इवेंट्स होते हैं. ये देखो आ गया. इन मेजॉरिटी ऑफ हायर प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स ग्रोथ एंड रिप्रोडक्शन आर म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव. हायर प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स ग्रोथ अलग है, रिप्रोडक्शन अलग है. नॉन लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स ऑल्सो ग्रो. वाओ. If we take increase in body mass as a criteria for growth, right? Mountains, boulders, sand mounds, right? Na? Right? We have sandstorms, so sand shift होके वहां चला जाता है, तो sand mounds बढ़ जाते हैं. Right? We have deposition on the mountains, boulders they break down, there is more accumulation. Right? So we find that this growth is occurring. Right? ये non-living objects हैं. But your growth is occurring by something which is added externally, not internally, right? So this kind of growth is by accumulation of material on the surface, but in living organisms, the growth is from within. It is not from outside, right? So this is the difference between a non-living structure growing and a living structure. But we find that non-living structures तो grow होते हैं, right ना, भले ही externally हो, internally ना हो, but then since it is occurring, you cannot say that growth is the defining property of living organism, because we find that occurring in the non-living structure also, right? Obviously, a dead organism cannot grow. So growth cannot be taken as the defining process. The second that we come to is reproduction. Reproduction, obviously a characteristic of living organism. Now again, we will talk about multicellular and unicellular. Multicellular it refers to the production of progeny. The next generation offspring is called as progeny, possessing features more or less similar to those of parents. Right? Obviously, we're referring to sexual reproduction. Organisms reproduce by asexual means. Fungus is multicellular, right? But it is multiplying and reproducing due to asexual spores. Lower organisms like yeast and hydra, we observe budding. Planaria, we've just done Animalia, उसमें regeneration होता है. Fungi है, filamentous algae है, protonema of moss, they all multiply by fragmentation. So all these are multicellular organisms which are showing the process of reproduction. But when it comes to unicellular like bacteria or unicellular algae or amoeba, I told you just a while back, reproduction is synonymous with growth. Right? ना, जब एक सेल डिवाइड होके 2 में करता है तो you can't tell ये growth है या reproduction, दोनों है. ये reproduce भी कर रहा है और grow भी हो रहा है. Okay. Further, there are many organisms which do not reproduce, like sterile worker bees, infertile human couples, right? Mules. Mule is a hybrid. Hybrids will never show sexual, they don't show sex organs. They are reduced sex organs. Sterile worker bees, right? Honey bee के अंदर, I had made a mention last time when we did arthropoda में honey bee आया था कि there are 3 types of honey bee: queen bee, male, that is the drone, and third, that is the worker. So reproduction is always between the queen bee and the drone, male. There is no reproduction for the worker bee. So worker bees are sterile. So they are organisms which do not reproduce. सो ऑब्वियसली जब एक्सेप्शन आ जाता है तो उस पॉइंट को हम लोग रूल नहीं बना सकते. सो रिप्रोडक्शन डेफिनेटली कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म का, but we do find exceptions that there are organisms which do not reproduce. So reproduction also cannot be considered as the defining property. नहीं बोल सकते हम लोग. तीसरा, metabolism. What is metabolism? Obviously, the sum total of all anabolic and catabolic processes in our body, the sum total is called as metabolism. Right? Anabolism are all energy generating processes, whereas catabolism are all breaking down processes. And this sum total is known as catabolism. Right? So obviously when we see living organisms, they are made up of cells. Cells are made up of chemicals. These are big, small, interacting amongst themselves, belonging to various classes, functions. They are changed into some other biomolecule. Chapter हमने देख चुके हैं, right? They are always in a state of flux, we said. वहाँ पे बोला था हमने, use किया the word flux. They are always in a state of flux, constantly changing, A changing to B, changing to C, and so on. Now, these conversions are nothing but chemical reactions or metabolic reactions. So you can have thousands and thousands of these metabolic reactions occurring simultaneously in a living organism, be it either a unicellular or a multicellular organism, right? But non-living object does not exhibit metabolism. ये देखो, no non-living object exhibits metabolism, but metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the body in cell-free systems. मतलब यहाँ पे क्या ऑथर बोलना चाह रहा है कि जो रिएक्शन सेल में हो रहा है, राइट, वही रिएक्शन सेल के बाहर हो सकता है, राइट. एक सिंपल रिएक्शन, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और वाटर, राइट. ह्यूमन रेस्पिरेशन पढ़ा आप लोगों ने, कार्बोनिक एसिड बनता है, बट उसको एंजाइम लगता है कार्बोनिक एनहाइड्रेस, राइट. जब कार्बोनिक एनहाइड्रेस आता है तो रिएक्शन का स्पीड शूट अप होता है. बट लेकिन इसी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड वाटर को सेल के बाहर, आउटसाइड, राइट ना, जिसको हम लोग इन विट्रो बोलते हैं. जब कोई चीज बॉडी के बाहर होती है तो हम उसको इन विट्रो बोलते हैं. जो चीज बॉडी के अंदर होती है तो उसको हम उसको इन वीवो बोलते हैं, राइट. जब यही केमिकल्स को आप इन विट्रो लेके आओ, बॉडी के बाहर लेके आओ, right, तो क्या कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड वाटर will combine? They will combine, 100% they will combine. That means a reaction which is taking place inside the system can also take place outside, but वहां पर it will not be called as a living reaction. It's a simple chemical reaction, right? But in the same reaction occurring inside the body will be a living chemical reaction. यहाँ पर उसको living नहीं बोल सकते हम लोग, right? यानी कि metabolism is a feature of no doubt about it of all the living organism, but isolated metabolic reaction in vitro भी possible है. तो क्या मेटाबॉलिज्म को हम लोग बोल सकते हैं? नहीं बोल सकते, राइट. सो ग्रोथ एक्सेप्शन आ गया, रिप्रोडक्शन एक्सेप्शन आ गया, थर्ड पॉइंट मेटाबॉलिज्म, फिर एक ऑब्जेक्शन आ गया यहाँ पर. चौथा है ability to sense around us, to perceive our surroundings, to react to stimulus coming towards us, right. The stimulus could be physical stimulus, chemical stimulus, biological stimulus, कुछ भी हो सकता है, right. तो we have been given sense organs, right. So we perceive the senses through these sense organs. Plants, they react to light, they react to temperature, they react to pollutants, right? They are also reacting to stimulus. Animals, from the simplest to the most complex, will respond to stimulus coming from the environment, right? देखो यहाँ पे एक example दिया, photoperiod. Plant growth, photoperiodism affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, right? Those who are having, the breeding is done seasonally. In those plants are affected by photoperiodism. कितना पीरियड सन का लाइट का अवेलेबिलिटी मिलता है एक पर्टिकुलर फ्लावरिंग के लिए, उसको फोटोपीरियोडिज्म बोलते हैं, राइट. All organisms handle chemicals entering their bodies. All organisms therefore are aware of their surroundings. Right now, consciousness therefore becomes the defining property of living organisms. The ability to perceive stimuli and respond to it. Right? It responds to it. That is the characteristic feature of life. Right now, so growth में exception है, reproduction में exception है, metabolism exception है, but लेकिन perception जो होता है, right now, our ability to perceive stimulus from the surrounding, it never diminishes, and that is the criteria which is present only and only with living organisms. So this was the first part of the discussion, where we are trying to define what is life and features of life, right? But you find that when the issue comes to human life, human beings, these questions are a very gray area. They have rightly pointed out, patients who are always लंबे टाइम से कोमा में है, right? They don't have consciousness. So what do you call them, as living or non-living things? So a lot of difficult questions, science still has to answer them. Okay, so this is about the first part of the chapter, which talks about what is life and those 4 properties which they have defined. Okay. Going to the second part of the chapter. Now, what is the second part? कि भाई life है, living world है, but what is the diversity in this living world? Now, what do you understand by diversity? See, whatever animal, whatever plant you see, it represents a particular species. बहुत सारे examples हम लोग ने morphology, plantae, animalia में कर लिया है, right now. So let's say, for example, you say Hibiscus rosa sinensis. You're talking about a shoe flower. You're talking about Solanum tuberosum. You're talking about potato. Right? So whenever you pick up, when you see a different organism, it is representing a particular species. Now, according to IUCN, IUCN stands for International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. I'll repeat, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. N दो बार है इसमें, nature and natural resources, right? The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. यानी 17 से 18 lakh different types of organisms are there. I hope you're understanding what this statement means. We as Homo sapiens, right now, we may be 700 crore Homo sapiens on this earth, but as a species, we are one. So as a species, we are the single species. Sare, you're not counting the entire lot. Right? So वैसे 17 से 18 लाख अलग अलग टाइप के creatures हैं. Right? Now, there is a separate chapter dedicated to biodiversity, जिसमें we say that the lowest number, एकदम conservative number के total number of species कितने हैं पूरे world में? They have given 7 million. Right? उसमें से 1.7 to 1.8 अभी डिस्कवर हुए हैं, यानी सिर्फ 22 to 25% have still been discovered. The remaining are yet to be discovered. Okay, this refers to biodiversity, right? This term biodiversity was given by Edward Wilson. We should remember here that as we explore new areas and even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified, right? On the whole, around 15,000 new organisms are identified every year. So on an average, रोज के 50, एकदम rough average, रोज के 40 से 50 organisms are discovered, right? So it is around 15,000. Now, if new organisms are being discovered, obviously there arises a need for studying them, for classifying them, for naming them, right? Now we enter the process which is called as nomenclature, right? The process of naming a particular organism, उसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Nomenclature बोलते हैं. You have already done IUPAC, right? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, उसके सारे norms IUPAC के rules है, right? वैसे ही कुछ बायोलॉजिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस है जिसने ये रूल्स बनाए हैं नॉमेनक्लेचर के. लेकिन ऑब्वियस है यार, टिल यू डोंट आइडेंटिफाई, टिल यू डोंट सी व्हाट इज द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म, उसका नाम कैसे रखेंगे आप? नाम रखने के लिए कोई ना कोई कैरेक्टर. अब बहुत सारे प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स ऐसे हैं जिसके अंदर नाम से ही पता चलता है कि उसका फीचर क्या हो सकता है, राइट? अब एक फिकस इलास्टिका रबर प्लांट है, राइट? मैंगेफेरा इंडिका, अब उसका नाम इंडिका क्यों है? क्योंकि वो एक नेटिव इंडियन प्लांट है, इसलिए उसका नाम है. सो जब आप उस किसी चीज को आइडेंटिफाई करते हो, उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ढूंढते हो, तब जाके आप उसका एक नाम रख सकते हो, और ऐसा नाम जो पूरे वर्ल्ड में कॉमन हो. दैट इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. वरना इंडिया में एक पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म को एक नाम से जाना जाएगा, किसी और कंट्री में दूसरे नाम से जाना जाएगा. इट विल क्रिएट अ लॉट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन. So the nomenclature has to be accepted standardly, एकदम across the world. ठीक है? Now there are some nomenclature systems, ICBN, ICZN. I think they find mention in the NCERT. They are for botanical nomenclature and they are for zoological nomenclature. Two extra have been given here. Nomenclature of bacteria, ICNB. And virus classification and nomenclature, ICVCN, right? Please make a note of the last two. These are extra points. Okay. So what does a scientific naming does? It ensures that it has only one name, which is standard, accepted all over the world. But you come to that particular name only after studying the characteristics, only after identifying the characteristic of the particular organism. Now, biologists all over, they follow some specific universally accepted principles and rules for nomenclature, right? Each name has got two components. The first part is called as the generic part, which is called as the genus, and the second part is called as the specific epithet, which is called as the species. So first part of the name is genus, or the second part of the name is called as species, right? Genus or species मिला के होता है एक word, and this coming together of two words, this system was given by Carolus Linnaeus, right? Now इसको binomial nomenclature बोलते हैं. इंटरेस्टिंग बात यह है कि कैरोलस लिनेयस उसका एक्चुअल नाम नहीं है. ही वॉज अ स्वीडिश नेचुरलिस्ट जिसका नाम है कार्ल वॉन लिन, CRL, कार्ल स्पेस VON वॉन एंड स्पेसेस लिन, LINN, कार्ल वॉन लिन, right? He is responsible for naming around 10,000 organisms, including plants and animals, all of them, right? So his three-worded name was famously changed to binomial nomenclature, Carolus Linnaeus, and he introduced the system into his book called as Species Plantarum. Now please, in the NCERT, the Species Plantarum is not appearing. Some other book is appearing, that is Systema Naturae. So इसको प्लीज नोट करेंगे वहीं पर जहां पर सिस्टमा नेचरे लिखा होगा लिनेयस के आगे. सो लिनेयस ने सिस्टमा नेचरे में एक अलग कॉन्सेप्ट इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, लेकिन स्पीशीज प्लांटेरम में उसने ये सारा का सारा नॉमेनक्लेचर का रूल्स और रेगुलेशंस डिफाइन किया है. नाउ व्हाट इज द यूनिवर्सल रूल्स ऑफ दिस नॉमेनक्लेचर? Number one, biological names are generally in Latin. So we find these odd pronounced names, right? Na? So these are all Latin names. Obviously, when these names were given, right, by Linnaeus, दैट टाइम पूरे वर्ल्ड में दिस लैंग्वेज वाज डोमिनेंट. आज इंग्लिश है तो उस टाइम ये लैंग्वेज डोमिनेंट था, इसलिए इसके सारे नाम जो है वो उसी लैंग्वेज में है. Biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. So, if you have observed your textbook, जब भी एक ऑर्गेनिज्म का नाम आता है तो वो लोग आइटेलिक्स में लिखते हैं, क्योंकि वो रूल है नॉमेनक्लेचर का. द फर्स्ट वर्ड इन द नेम रिप्रेजेंट्स जीनस. ये देखो, मैंगिफेरा इंडिका. सो मैंगिफेरा रिप्रेजेंट्स जेनेरा, जीनस, whereas indica is representing species, right? So you have genus and species. The biological name, when it is handwritten, you have to underline it, right? बट उसको प्रिंट करेंगे तो इट हैज टू बी इन आइटैलिक्स, राइट. अच्छा, और एक देखो, मैंगिफेरा में एम जो है ना वो कैपिटल आएगा और इंडिका में आई जो है वो स्मॉल फॉर्म आएगा. दिस आर द रूल्स, राइट. नाउ देयर इज नो रीजन फॉर दीज रूल्स, बट दीज आर रूल्स. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens is the name of the author, मतलब जिसने उस organism को discover किया, is added at the last. So it is Mangifera indica Linn, which indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. देखो यहाँ पर Linn लिख दिया, Linn. So Mangifera indica Linn. Right. So those are some of the rules of nomenclature. Right. एक और रूल है जो यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ नहीं है. Right. देखो, उसमें दो एग्जाम्पल देता हूं आपको मैं. एक आपको ऑलरेडी मालूम है, मैंगिफेरा इंडिका, मैंगो, राइट. दूसरा आपको मैं एग्जाम्पल देता हूं अजाडिरेक्टा इंडिका. Now, Azadirachta indica is the name, botanical name for neem, right? जो नीम का पेड़ आता है ना, उसका नाम है Azadirachta indica. Now, if you observe Azadirachta indica, right, और पहले Mangifera indica, so उसमें indica यानी name of the species is same, right? अब जब आप दो अलग अलग जेनेरा के साथ डील कर रहे हो, यहां मैंगिफेरा है, राइट, यहां पर अजाडिरेक्टा है, तो जब दो अलग अलग जेनेरा होते हैं, जीनस होते हैं, तो उसमें आप स्पीशीज का नाम जो है वो रिपीट कर सकते हो. उसी जेनेरा में आप स्पीशीज का नाम रिपीट नहीं कर सकते. मैंगिफेरा इंडिका हो गया, मतलब मैंगिफेरा में इंडिका वापस कभी नहीं आएगा. They will not be Mangifera indica anytime else, right? So these are some of the rules of nomenclature, right? I've got a small chart for you here, if you can see. Sorry, some sample names I have got for you. I think I am disturbing your view. Okay, ये रहा. ये देखो, होमोसेपियंस में होमो इज द जेनेरिक नेम, सेपियंस इज द एपिथेट, पैंथेरा लियो इज लायन, कैनिस फेमिलियारिस इज डॉग, एलियम सेपा अनियन पढ़ा हम लोग ने, ट्राइटिकम एस्टिवम, सोलैनम मेलोंगना ये भी पढ़ा हुआ है, ब्रिंजल, रोजा इंडिका इज रोज, एंड कोलंबा लिविया इज पिजन, राइट. ये नहीं, खाली कोलंबा मालूम था हमको, एनिमेलिया में पढ़ा हम लोग ने, कोलंबा लिविया नहीं मालूम था, राइट. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द नेम्स व्हिच हैव बीन गिवन टू कन्वे द एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द जेनेरिक नेम एंड द स्पेसिफिक नेम, राइट. नाउ इट इज बट ऑब्वियस यार, राइट, when you have so many organisms, 1.7 to 1.8 million organisms है, तो उसको इंडिविजुअली पढ़ना तो ह्यूमनली इम्पॉसिबल है, राइट. तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं, उसको ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड करते हैं. इस ग्रुपिंग को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, क्लासिफिकेशन. इसको हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे, क्लासिफिकेशन, राइट. सो क्लासिफिकेशन इज ऑलवेज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सम क्राइटेरिया, सम differences, right? That is when we classify, right? When same characteristics are seen, we group them, but when different are seen, we classify them. Okay. Now, these are some of the statements given in the NCERT. You can just go through it, right? Now, when you divide this classification into different categories, right? Each of these categories taxa, right? देखो यहाँ पे लोगों ने प्लांट्स का एग्जाम्पल दिया है, राइट? प्लांट्स दिया हुआ है, तो प्लांट इज अ टैक्सा. व्हेन यू से किंगडम प्लांटे, तो उसमें जो प्लांटे है इज अ टैक्सा. Wheat is taxa, right? When you say wheat, it is Triticum aestivum, so it is a full taxa. Animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa, right? Kingdom Animalia, class Mammalia, family Canidae, dogs. So animals, mammals and dogs are representing taxa but at different levels, right? Animal जो है वो एकदम higher level पे, kingdom Animalia, right? Mammal जो है वो class के level पे है, right? Dogs, right? It is at maybe the family level, Canidae. So this process of classification is known as taxonomy. This process of classification is called as taxonomy, right? Taxonomy में पहले आप ऑब्वियसली डिस्कवरी के बाद उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ढूंढते हो, उसको आइडेंटिफाई करते हो, क्लासिफाई करते हो, प्रॉपर ग्रुप में डालते हो और उसको एक नाम देते हो. सो व्हेन अ ऑर्गेनिज्म इज डिस्कवर्ड, these are the four things essential to put it in the pages of history, right? What is the characterization, what is the identification, what is the classification, and what is the nomenclature. ठीक है? So when you study organisms and try to study the relationship between different organisms, this is known as systematics, right? अब एक एंड पे है सिस्टमैटिक्स, दूसरे एंड पे है टैक्सोनॉमी. बाय एंड लार्ज जो है वो सेम है बट थोड़े डिफरेंसेस है, राइट? टैक्सोनॉमी में सिस्टमैटिक्स, right? So all living organisms are classified into different taxa. This process of classification is taxonomy.